night, in the shadows, in the sky. It's Paranexus Universe.
And welcome back, everybody. Doug Kelly here, and with Grant, my good friend. Hey, Grant.
Hey, Doug. Hey, welcome, everybody.
Hey,
It's good to have you with us tonight.
Yes, it is, and we're talking with our guest, Jerry Avalos, talking about astral projection, lucid dreaming, that sort of thing. Welcome back, Jerry. Appreciate you being with us. So for the first half hour, let's try to see if we can summarize a couple of things here. As far as the difference between lucid dreaming and astral projection, could you put that in, just a short paragraph? Just how do you know, or do you just know?
Okay, if you just want lucid dreaming, like I said, is just being conscious of your dreams, that you are dreaming, or basically that you're dreaming. So anytime that you know that you're not in your waking state, lucid dreaming, you just fall into that category because there really isn't anything really solid that kind of says one way or another.
Okay.
Projection is more of like connecting to the universe, shall I say.
Okay.
So where you're interacting with energies and information that don't necessarily originate from you. So you're actually feeding that off of a different this information layer that everyone's trying to find, basically.
Okay. All right. Well, so now the next summarization question is, oh God, it's fleeting in my mind now. All right, the next one is preparation. Okay, so we discussed how intention is important. You need to have the intention. Yeah, I'd like to go to Mars. Yeah, I'd like to go to Stonehenge. Yeah, I'd like to go to Machu Picchu. So we've got intention down, and then you also mentioned how you focus your mind on the act of getting there or of just going there, right?
Exactly. If that's a question in your mind, address it. Basically, address your own questions in your mind and answer them, because you essentially create this perceived reality. So, so if that mode of transit is a big one, actually, because a lot of people have asked me that. How do you travel? Well, like I said, you can use a car, you can run, you can fly, you can create portals, and all this other stuff. It's really not bound by any laws of any, writings anywhere. So basically, if I said about the meditation isn't the Zen meditation of clearing your mind. It's more of walking into a subject and pondering possibility on the subject and identifying the one that you like, that you prefer. So that process is up to whoever wants to do it. But at the same time, there's ways you can do that. I suggest a list. Where do I want to go? How will I get there? How long will I stay? When do I want to see? Do I want to see now, or do I want to see when the Druids were there? Things like that.
So time travel. Okay. Here's a question from the chat room. When you do lucid dreaming, do you ever wake up tired?
You can, if you let yourself fall into that trap. If you let yourself think that you are tired because you don't get our consciousness is a never-ending spring of energy. So if we perceive our mind being tired, then we will be tired. But there's nothing that you can do there that will make you wake up physically tired unless you make it reality. Does that make sense?
Okay. So now let's talk about some of the most interesting places you've been in terms of astral projection, and who you might have met along the way.
Oh, wow. Okay. I actually tend to keep most of my projections, local, for one reason or another. I just kind of me personally, I love just running around, actually. You'll find me just running over the United States, over the world. Just the speed alone, it's just I just love just doing that. It's beautiful. You have this hyper color, hyper reality. But I say some of the stuff that I like to save once in a while, I just love doing it. I haven't done it for a while. Maybe this talk will inspire me to try to build this up, the Courage Boot Camp. But is just go out in space and just look at all the galaxies. I remember specifically doing that a lot when I was younger. And that's one thing I actually put this warning in to everyone who's listening. This stuff can be obscenely fun. addictively fun to where you kind of just want to sleep. So you got to make sure that doesn't happen because it becomes hyper reality. It's almost better than reality. You're like, oh, why would I even want to wake up? You know, so very important to keep yourself grounded.
Okay, so what would you say is the most interesting place, the most eventful, or, you know, somebody says, where you been? What's the first one that comes to mind, the most dramatic, exciting, eventful experience?
Well, honestly, like I'm not really sure how much we want to get into it, but one of the one that really sticks out in my mind was the recent one that had basically the newspaper kind of told me like, oh yeah, you kind of got some information too where you're at, and it was a massive base actually.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like it was some kind of, it reminded me of like the big tunnel you see in the movie Transformers.
Yeah.
And I was kind of walking, and I saw basically I just felt like I was in a different body actually. It was kind of weird, and but I saw this symbol of this thing being brought out. It was some kind of craft, you know. It was a spacecraft of some kind, and everyone kind of knew it was a semi-sham sort of thing, but everyone applied anyways. And so I'm walking down this, I'm like, wow, that's kind of interesting because it's transmorphing in front of me. And while I'm doing it, I'm slowing down. The people behind me say, hey, watch out. And I look to the side of me, and it's 5 nuclear weapons. And I'm like, wow, where are those going? And so
Wow.
this goes down, this goes further, but this basically what happened here. This is when we lost those nukes over America. This is that time, and that was that thing, that ship was the, I forgot the exact name, but it's like the XJ something or other. It was NASA's test flying it out of Vandenberg that day.
Okay.
And stuff like that. And so that's kind of a functional one. That's one that's honestly on my mind right now because, you know, everyone's really, really concerned about, you know, what's going on in the world right now. And
Well, what kind of, have you had any contacts with interdimensional beings or extraterrestrials?
Yeah, actually the extraterrestrial one, actually one of the ones that was very interesting, to let you know that they're not all bad things, really. Okay, how I said, I love running around. So I was just running around town, literally. I was just running through the hills in one of the canyons nearby. And I'm running, and I'm looking to the side of me, and there's an alien, an ET. And I'm like, holy crap, there's an alien. And he's just like, yeah, Jerry, don't kill me. What do you want? And I'm like, don't kill, dude, I'm not going to kill you. If I went over this. And he's just like, he's like, yeah, fine, what do you want? And I'm like, I didn't know, because it looked like he was in the middle of something. I'm just like, I was just running around playing, so I'm like, play? And he made this big tidal wave, and he looked at me. I looked at him, and he was like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, well, I just jumped in and went along with it. And it was interesting, because I know I could have asked him all these things, like, oh, you know, what are you guys doing? Where did you come from? But I knew he was a gray. I knew he was a gray alien that everyone talks about, these robotic, semi-robotic guys that fly around and do their various deeds. I don't necessarily know their agenda, but I know that I can tell that they're everywhere doing a lot of different things.
Are you talking about during your astral projection? They're around?
I've seen them different places, yeah. And actually, I've talked to some regressionists. I haven't actually had a regression myself yet, but I've given them some of my some of these visions, and they're like, yeah, you might have been looked at there a little bit a couple of times. I've had like little quick awakenings where I wake up and I see this little alien in a suit walking towards me, and I'm just like, oh hey, this is where they do whatever they do. So no, I mean I see almost like a hazmat suit or something.
Cool.
So it's very clinical in a sense. And,
so do you feel like you've been abducted by them, or?
Honestly, at this point, it would make a lot of sense. I'd probably